Intermittent fasting, I've been a fan of it. I've used it, right? I've used it while I was cutting. I've used it just on certain days when I feel like I'm bloated or I don't feel like eating yet. Metabolically, I don't feel like I'm ready to put food in my system. Some days I'm really hungry, but it's that factor of I've noticed it. Like there's that caloric drop off in that window.
TJ said he doesn't eat breakfast, but he really just eats at 10. So it's just, he has 3 meals. It just happens to be at 10.
Well, it's like lunchtime if you're up at 5 pretty much. So, but the total protein number and the total calorie number, like you said, in that window is tough to hit. So once again, we're working at a whole day's span. But that also goes back, I was going to go back to that post-workout talk. You said you have a shake, right? I'll have a shake too, but it's not necessarily like in the 30-minute anabolic window. Exactly. That's like old school, kind of like bro BS talk, right? That doesn't necessarily exist unless you're extremely low calorically, or let's say like post-marathon or something crazy where your body needs immediate nutrition, right? And is going to absorb it like a really dry plant with dry dirt. You pour water in, it fucking eats it up right away, right? It absorbs it right away. That's when you should worry about post-workout.
And that's the thing, right to that point quick, is that if you have good structured meals, you're fine. If you're hitting your calories and you have structured meals and some snacks in there, you're good. You don't have to worry about that post workout nutrition or that post-workout shake. But if you're saying, oh, I'm not going to eat for 5 hours after my workout, you probably want to sneak something in there.
Yeah, and that's the only reason why I would do it, right? It's ease, it's accessibility, it's are you working out and then going straight to work, or we're training somebody or doing something. Drinking a shake is one of the only things we can really have access to at that time. Or are you on a road trip and you are in a pit stop, right? And they have beef jerky, protein shake, and whatever, bag of mangoes.
Or a honey bun.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. What are the choices you're going to make there? We all have choices, and that comes back to the top of how do you set up your day? What are you doing with your plan? And where does that take you? 6 months to a year, right?
I think the other reason I like the post-workout shake, and I recommend it to people, is just habit stacking. So I think it's very hard for anyone to hit the recommended number of grams of protein a day with just meals. I would love for everyone to get there with just meals. But I know even for myself, there's usually probably a 30 or 40 gram that needs to get supplemented. And if I can do that in a shake, right, it's a very good habit to have, right? I can hit my number easily, and I know that, I worked out, have a shake, there's 30 grams of protein. Yeah. I'm good. So if I recommend that to people because typically then they're going to fall short. So if you can make up that 30 grams, right, within like what feels like just your workout. So I exercise, I have a shake, I got my workout in, and I got 30 grams. It's a perfect habit stack to have.
Yep. So I think to wrap up this whole nutrition talk conversation as it pertains to workouts, when we look at food in a full scope, you look at your macros, protein, carbs, and fats. Protein is first and foremost to set yourself up metabolically, right, to recover, to allow your bodily functions to be carried out and repaired properly throughout a day's work. I think only 20%, right, 20% of your daily protein goes to muscle mass repair. The rest is for heart tissue, lung, brain, total repair, right? Looking at that, protein's number one, and then manipulated off of your goals, off of your workout timing, off of are you working out today, do you have an off day, maybe you don't want to eat as many carbs on an off day, right? We can have a conversation about that another day too and get into it, which we want to talk to Adam about a little bit and bring him back on, but protein, number one, carbs and fats, kind of can be worked.
You can play around with those too.
Right, higher, lower, more of each one, more earlier in the day and later in the day as it pertains to each one individually based off of your goals and when you're working out, right? And that's kind of this fear of whether you're cutting, whether you're trying to gain weight, whether you're trying to perform. That's really when we want to worry about the carb and fat balance and when we're using them.
Yeah, and taking advantage and utilizing the carbs appropriately before you work out.